What's up, motherfuckers? 6 foot Ben, and I'm gonna tell you a story. Right. So, when I growing up, I had my mom and dad and shit lived here in Florida, and my aunts and shit and cousins on my mom's side lived in Michigan, so I spent off and on there. So when it came time to go to high school, I was getting bad grades down here in Florida because I was smoking a lot of pot and shit, and tripping and shit. Acid was everywhere back in 1990. It was really everywhere, and so when I went to school here the first day, I met this kid named TJ. We became fast friends. We were very close. We were best friends. We hung out all the time together. Went to lots of concerts and shit. Uh, yeah, we became really close. And so this one day, he calls me up and he's like, "Hey, let's hang out." It had been a while since we hung out or something, and he said, "I'll come pick you up. I gotta run out to Inkster." And Inkster is a place in Michigan. Um, it's not quite Detroit, but it's sketchy, man. This place is sketchy. Might be even sketchier than some places in Detroit. So, um, when he picks me up, he hands me a hit of acid. And I'm like, dude, I don't really feel like tripping, man. I don't feel like tripping. He's like, dude, come on. You never trip with me. Come on. And he fucking peer pressures me right into it. So I take the shit. And he's like, we're going to go over to Gerard's house, I think is his name, who lives in Inkster, he's going to go get some more sheets. So by the time we get there, I'm fucking feeling the LSD strong, right? So he pulls up outside, and I remember I was wearing this really stupid little hat. Um, uh, Before I had a beard, so I was a baby face. So he's like, "All right, I'm gonna run inside and then get this shit." And about 10 minutes goes by, and he comes back out. He's like, "Yo, they say you gotta come inside." uh, lose the faggy hat. That's what he told me. So I was like, all right. He's like, the neighbor's dogs are fighting in the backyard. It should be funny. And I'm thinking, like, the neighbor's little dog got out, and their dog got out, and they're fighting in the backyard. Probably not going to be something I want to see, but, it's funny, whatever. So we get to the house. I walk in the door, and I'm greeted by two pit bulls that I've never seen pit bulls this big. I mean, these things look like fucking predators. I mean, these dogs will fucking kill you. They were so big, man. I think one's name was Thor, if I remember right. So anyway, then they take me out in the backyard. Now my friend TJ knows I'm a fucking hippie ass dude. I don't like fucking hurting animals or nothing like that. So he knows that about me, but he didn't know what he had brought me to. So we go out back, and we go into this shed that's in the backyard, right? As soon as you walk in the shed, you realize this is a shed. It's got a fucking like plywood 2x4 ring, like boxed off in the corner of this thing, and there's dogs in there, big pit bulls, right? And on the outside of this fucking on the outside of this fucking uh, railing for the ring, there's just like a bunch of crazy gangster looking motherfuckers with lots of money in their hands, and they're betting on dogs, right? They're betting on dogs. And so when I'm in there, all right, so I get in there and I'm already like looking at my friend TJ, and he knows. He's looking at me like, kind of like, sorry, fuck, oh man. And it was right after a fight had happened, right? So there's one dog that won. He's just huge, and this dude's like, "Hey, yo, I gotta get my bitch bit." Like, get his bitch bit. What's that mean? So he brings in this little fucking pit bull puppy who's like trying to run up to people like to get pet and shit. Like, it's a really sweet dog, right? It's probably a year old. And this dude decides he needs to get his cherry popped, get get fucking, get bit. So they line them up in the corners. This little dog and this big monster. And I learned the rules that day. Basically, if both dogs are scratching at the ground, you let them go. You let them go. They fight for like, I think it's like 2 minutes. They break them up. They bring them back to the corners. And once one dog, when they're getting ready to let them go, starts walking in a circle and showing that he doesn't want to fight, the other dog wins, unless it's a KO, which is dog gets killed. And if the dogs lose, they take him out back and kill him anyway, right? Because it dishonored them. So anyway, they're deciding they're gonna let this dog get bit, and they pull these dogs across. Right away, you can tell this puppy dog has no interest in fighting this big fucking monster, none at all. And they're like, all right, let him go. So the little dog doesn't even get out of the corner. The big dog just seizes it by the fucking neck. And this dog is screaming. It's screaming. I've never heard a dog scream. I mean, it was screaming. And they're like, I'm just dying inside. My friend TJ's looking at me like he knows I'm dying. and he's looking at me like basically like, dude, I hope he doesn't say nothing. Don't say nothing, Ben. Don't say nothing. Okay, so they 2 minutes goes and they separate him. They bring him back in the corner, and the little dog is fucking traumatized as fuck. It can't stop crying. It's bleeding like a motherfucker. I'm seeing it. I'm dying. I'm just like, oh, this is the worst fucking thing ever. And they're like, they pull him back in the corner, like, should we let him go again? And I went, no. And it was like that fucking scene in the movie where the record scratches. It was like, no. And everyone just stops. Like the music stops. Everyone's just looking at me. All these big motherfucking gangster fuckers with guns and fucking money. And I look like a dude who's gonna snitch. And so my friend TJ and the dude that he knew there, they rushed me out of that motherfucker and they got me in the car and I got out of there. But holy fuck, did that fucking suck, man. It's crazy what people do for fun. And for the record, my friend TJ had no idea this shit was going on either. So he's not like about that shit. But man, what a fucked up day. And I was tripping my balls off too, man. Ah, maybe that's why I can still hear the fucking scream of that fucking little dog. Fuck, poor thing. All right, motherfuckers. I hope I didn't depress you too much. Good night.